little base in Uxbridge where people can come and chat to you. Happy New Year!
Indeed, it is 2022. We've made it.
Yeah, we can still say Happy New Year, I suppose. At some point we'll run out. Happy New Year's. We're chatting about New Year, New Me. You've got some tips for us. First of all, what's the main? Can we have resolutions? Do you think? What's the main tip for 2022?
Well, I think the new year is a natural place for us to start thinking about what behaviours serve us and what behaviours no longer serve us in the new year. We've had Christmas, we've had a break from our routine, so it's natural that you might reflect on where your life is going as you go into a new year, and as you think about what happened in 2021 and what went well and what didn't go so well. So I think it's natural. The challenge with resolutions is typically we know that they don't always last so long. I think we've got a day coming up in January called I think it's Blue January or Blue Monday. Have you heard of it?
This is the most depressing day of the year or something?
Apparently so, when people have given up and their new routines haven't stuck. I'm a massive fan of habit change. If you can start by changing small habits, then you get small wins, which give you a sense of control. It gives you the sense that momentum is happening. And that's one of the ways to start thinking about, is there a particular aspect of your behaviour that you want to change?
So, resolutions might be drinking, smoking, as in giving these things up, not starting them. A diet, fitness resolution, maybe you want to go vegan. But you're saying start small and then you have more chance of keeping that resolution, perhaps.
Absolutely. And this is and also thinking about how you might be able to trip yourself up. So some of that might be you only reward yourself with certain things that you enjoy once you've done, for example, going to the gym.
Yeah, little treats.
Yeah, you've got to learn how to trip yourself up as well. Habit changes. One of the things I used to do was to come to the office and then go to the gym. So I'd get ready, get washed, put my my professional clothes on at the gym rather than doing it at home, and that was just one of the ways that I incentivized myself. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, finding little ways, like if you want to drink more water, have water at places where you're likely to come across it. So at your desk, if you're working, you have it there, you might be much more likely, because you kind of trip yourself up. That can be much more important.
So people that you're seeing at the moment, what's sort of is it random, or what's the main issues that people are coming to you with at the moment?
Well, I really specialise in helping highly sensitive, empathic people find their power ultimately.
Wow.
And generally what brings empathic, highly sensitive people to me is when they've got into relationships that have been particularly unhelpful. Usually tends to be with a narcissistic individual. And I'm passionate about helping people who are embroiled in those dynamics to help them understand so that they can make considered choices about how to move forward. So that's one aspect of where I help people. And well, I'll be frank, I've worked in prison, so there's not much that I've not seen, there's not much that I'm not used to. And so, I can see a whole raft of people for a whole manner of other challenges that come along with, be it mental health, well-being, and some rather taboo aspects of human behaviour.
And have you found that lockdowns made things worse?
I think lockdown has exacerbated a lot of already underlying issues, and that has made this time particularly difficult, as well as depending on what people do for their careers, how well, how badly you've been affected, but that's not for every career field, that we know. So some areas have done okay. Family dynamics, do you still live at home with your parents? Can you afford to? So many issues have already been brought to light. But I think one of the biggest issues I see is people fighting what they can't control. And that can be really difficult for people, because you don't get momentum, you don't get small wins, and that promotes the feeling of stuckness. So I'm just really passionate about helping people to see how they get stuck and what they might need to think about doing.
Is there a bit of an issue with phones and social media at the moment, do you think? People will be doing maybe less on their phones?
I think the issue with phones is, I think in future years we'll really get the full lowdown on the consequence of relationships, isolation, fear, comparisonitis, people never feeling good enough, and constantly attention is constantly being taken away. So many of my friends who used to read don't read anymore.
Yeah.
And what's happened, I guess it must be between Netflix binging and Uber eating and our phones, and I think also not to mention what the apps on our phones are doing. I've got clients who've managed to get themselves in debt with the kind of Klarna, buy now, pay in 3 months, which sounds great if you buy one item, but if you do that en masse, it's problematic. Uber Eats in terms of weight gains for people, and the convenience that's becoming incredibly inconvenient, and relentless shopping. So, humans, we find all manner of ways of dealing with life and its challenges, and so certain addictions, getting overly attached, be it drugs, shopping, gaming, whatever people's vices that is coming up. That is.
And you can help people just by talking to them rather than using any drugs or that sort of thing.
Well, I think one of the challenges is in the medical industry, if you go to your doctors, there's a high likelihood that you might be prescribed medication, and hopefully referrals to IAPT programs or CBT. Generally, as a psychotherapist, people come to see me after they've had CBT, and they've kind of thinking, actually, I think there's something else deeper that I really want to understand. And that isn't always comfortable. And I think sometimes, especially if you've got a doctor that encourages medication, sometimes that can be challenging for people. But I'm a massive advocate that I think what I notice is that once people understand the complexity of their situation and they get their head around it, it can be incredibly empowering, self-empowering, for them to realize that actually there's a strength to me, there's something in me that I didn't know when I redistribute my attention to what I can control. And I think from epigenetics, which is a massive area of intrigue for myself, people are understanding more about energy, and that's how the law of attraction works. People are very popular with the book The Secret, they love all that kind of pop psychology, but how that manifests is, where attention flows, energy goes, and often we may be in situations that we don't like, and for whatever reason we don't want to let go. I like to help people to see how they do it to themselves.
Because I think in the US, perhaps people go and see their therapists a lot, don't they? Perhaps it's a bit more taboo in the UK. And I wonder if it's a name thing, it's got a branding issue. You could say, I'm off to see my coach, and that's perfectly okay. But if you go and see your therapist, there's a bit of a taboo around that still.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. And I think in my earlier stages is why I often used the term coach, because I was very much aware of the discrimination. And you mentioned psychotherapist, and people generally seem to think that there's some sort of issue with madness. And I think we do get a really bad press, because I think they think we just dwell in the darkness, in the depths and difficult things that happened in our lives. The challenge is we need to make sense of that in order to free us from the limiting beliefs that create our current reality. And I think about myself as a testament to that. I was 22 kids, single mum, on the checkouts at IKEA. Excuse me, can you leave that yellow bag behind, please? That was me, champion for the candles. And, reading self-help books, taking responsibility for my life, and, using education as a transformative tool. So I'm a graduate of Brunel, went to Metanoia, where I studied psychotherapy at master's level. So I took responsibility for my life, and it wasn't that I was going to do everything all at once. It was just small and steady.
Yeah.
And that's why habit change can be so helpful to us.
And you're currently doing some part-time work at Charing Cross Hospital, which is unbelievably marvellous. Helping the nurses there, who's probably feeling a bit stressed. Putting it mildly.
Absolutely. It's an honour to assist frontline staff as they battle with the challenges that are perpetually being put upon them. And again, just helping people to think about their power, think about what it is that they want for their future as well. So, sometimes that really can be helpful to people who feel that they're stuck and hopelessness sets in. We always have to be mindful of hopelessness and stuckness and despair. But what are the things that delight our hearts? Where are the areas that people have power? And I think if people focus on what they can do and focus on their now, because remember, for many people who are anxious or depressed, we're either worried about the past or fretting about the future, all of which are out of our control. And living in our now is where you have the greatest power potentially to impact a different future for yourself. So it's always about what we can do in the here and now, and I'm really proud to see that people are shifting and making insights.
I'm a big advocate of just going for a walk. There's some nice grassy areas near here. Fastage Park, great hot chocolates from the cafe and a bit of cake. Just take a quarter of an hour out your day, go for a walk, sit in the park and just chill for,
get your steps ups.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Any plans to go back into the prisons and help with prisoners, or is that not on your cards right now?
No, I think I've done my time on the front line, to be frank. I think I've really done my time on the front line. I'm if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Frank Sinatra, rest in peace. But I think that the areas where I really want to move into is helping organisations with their staff. I'm also fascinated in marketing. I'm checking out the Henley Business School at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, just thinking about all the different areas in terms of human behaviour that fascinate me. I think I love humans. I love potentiality, and I just keep following wherever my interests take me. So yeah, new horizons.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Keely, for popping in. And next time we'll get you to sing some bars, maybe some little rap. In your few years ago, maybe you were a bit of a rapper.
I'm a rehabilitator, none greater. Used to sing it on the wings when the when the offenders used to stop me and ask what I did, which can be quite intimidating when you're walking around the prison.
Yeah.
But it helps you grow balls of steel.
Exactly, yeah.
Which helps you in all other areas of your life. So yeah.
Yeah.
Getting out your comfort zone sometimes.
That's great. And where can we contact you if we want to get in hold of you?
You can find me at keyforchange.com, or you can find me on Instagram, keyforchange.com, and we also have the Empath Self-Protection channel on YouTube. You can check us out there. Videos for highly sensitive people who feel like often people take their kindness for weakness. Empathic people must learn to advocate for themselves.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
Perfect.
Whoop, whoop. Sorry about the phone.
That's all right.
I nabbed one, but I didn't nab two.